Well, like everyone else, the video industry has been hit by the recession, but possibly in the belief that what people need during hard times is entertainment, it's trying to counteract the adverse effects with a national advertising campaign, on which we now report.
I don't think that the industry is in bad shape as such. I think we've just recognised that during the 1980s, the last decade, we needed to do very little to make our business attractive. And in the 90s, where money seems to be tighter and where we have new competition, we have to work much harder to make sure that people come to us.
For the first time in our 10-year history, because that's all the time that video's been around, we've had to contend with an absence of the regular annual growth and life being comparatively easy as it has been up until now.
Last year, satellite put a lot of money into marketing itself. This year, video has to answer the call that everybody's making, that they need more people in the shops. And to get more people in the shops, you have to tell them what's in the shops.
The video industry has not until perhaps last year spent anything significant at all in the way of advertising money. And this year, 1991, there's going to be a massive spend of many millions of pounds. And this expenditure is aimed at persuading people who've given up video rental to return to renting, and perhaps even more importantly, persuading people who've never thought of renting videos to start doing so.
The key to the campaign will be the films, because that, at the end of the day, is what will get people back into the stores. And the hopes for the generic campaign, the end result, the only thing we're interested in, is getting more people into more video stores to rent more films.
Retailers are having a bad time, there's no doubt about that. And they're very gloomy about it. But what retailer isn't having a bad time?
So far, the video industry, which came from nowhere in the early 1980s and by 1990 was worth close to £900 million, has known only good times, doing very nicely, thank you, from people's tendency to spend their surplus cash on leisure activities. But now it's bracing itself for a struggle to keep hold of customers it's previously taken for granted.
It means we've got to spend money on advertising. We've got to give a lot more thought to marketing and to promotional activities. We've got to fight for our place in the market instead of assuming that the world owes us a living to some extent. And that's going to be a novel experience for many of us in the industry, and it's going to make life harder, more interesting perhaps, but certainly harder and tougher.
Well, I think the good will survive. Those who are good at identifying an opportunity and clever at marketing their product to the customer, they will survive and flourish the same way as they do in any other entertainment business. But in video in the 80s, it was possible for those who were not as good to survive, and I think it's those companies that will disappear.
Get a video out, and you're in for a good time.
Gorgeous sunset.
Have you got my camera?